I'm Alessandra Barrett, Senior Content Editor for JOC. I'm at our 16th annual TPM conference, and I'm joined by Randy Bayles, Director of International Intermodal for Norfolk Southern. Thanks for speaking with me today, Randy.
Thank you for having me.
Everyone's been talking for a while about the Panama Canal expansion and what that's going to mean for the ports on the East Coast. What about the intermodal piece of this? What about when the containers get to land and need to move inland?
We already have the large vessels on the East Coast through the Suez Canal. So we think there'll be even larger ships and more of them once the Panama Canal opens. Whether there'll be a great shift of freight from the West Coast to the East, I don't know about that, but there'll be larger ships. So the ports, they've been very vocal about what they're going to be doing to prepare. They're deepening their harbors for the bigger ships. They're buying new cranes to reach across the bigger ships. They're expanding bridge heights up in New Jersey for Bayles. So they're preparing, and they're asking us, to provide solutions, intermodal solutions. So we're doing that with short haul rail. So we're moving less distance than we traditionally have in the past. Some examples would be the Virginia Inland Port at Front Royal, Virginia, the South Carolina Inland Port at Front Royal. And really this is all to address, gate congestion and highway congestion around their terminals. Now, what we don't have an intermodal solution for is how do we handle these large, dense discharges of freight that come off. So the port wants them off their terminals as quickly as possible.
Sure.
Because they've got another ship coming in.
Right.
So in the past, you had the ocean carriers may have operated multiple smaller vessels on a string. Now they're operating maybe one big vessel. So large discharge in the port, they want it out, and now it's moving inland. And the last stop before it goes to the receiver of the freight is our intermodal containers. So in the past, we would see maybe 100 containers move at one time off the port to Chicago. Today we see 300. So the inland infrastructure at this point is just not set up for that volume of freight coming at one time.
Right.
So the one thing that it does, it makes our terminals more inefficient.
Sure.
Because the containers, because the infrastructure around isn't set up for a 24-hour-a-day operation, we have containers dwelling at our terminals. So that's the big thing that we have to address is how do we make our terminals more efficient, and with that, how do we make our assets more efficient? That would be our terminal gates, our terminal equipment, drivers, highways, distribution centers, that whole pipeline, we have to make it more efficient.
So is building or expanding terminals, is that the answer?
It's not, and that's how we've addressed it in the past. We've spent the last 10 years building across our network. We operate or serve 55 intermodal terminals, and so I think as far as building new terminals, we're pretty set. We're very close to our customers. So now the question is are they large enough?
Okay.
And at some point, you have to quit adding parking, and you have to address how do you get the boxes out of the terminals as quickly as possible. So that's what we're working on right now is how do we make the day longer? How do we make better use of the 24-hour terminal clock? So if you look at a snapshot of our gate activity today, you would see that most of our activity happens Monday through Friday between 8 and 4. The most popular day for pickups is Wednesday. The most popular time of pickup is 11 a.m. So we've got 2 days a week that aren't being utilized, and we've got 16 hours a day that aren't being utilized at our facilities. So again, we have equipment, we have gates that aren't being utilized properly, and the driving community isn't being utilized properly. So we have to spread that out. So how do we do that? So last year, we made Saturday a chargeable day for storage. In the past, weekends have always been virtually free. The first weekend was immune from storage. We changed that. We made Saturday a chargeable day. And it did have an impact. Dwell across our network went down. This year, because we see larger ships on the horizon. This problem isn't going away. Is that we're going to make Sunday a chargeable day.
Okay.
So that's a big change.
Yes.
But the one thing we are going to do to kind of help that a bit is storage has always worked on a midnight clock, in that storage stops and starts at midnight. We're changing it to an 8 a.m. stop. So if a box goes into storage on a Sunday, you can get that box out up until 8 a.m. the next morning and not have storage on it. So that encourages earlier pickups. So, and I will say for the Sunday chargeable day, that's only at 2 of our facilities, in Chicago Landers and Kansas City. Those are the 2 locations that we feel are best set up from a distribution center infrastructure to operate a 24-hour day, 7-day operation. So that's one change. The other thing we're going to do is we're going to make it more expensive from a storage standpoint to pick up between the hours of 8 a.m. and 6 p.m. We're going to make it less expensive to pick up between 6 p.m. and 8 a.m.
That's an incentive.
And it's kind of similar to Pier Pass. Mm-hmm. And again, it makes all the elements of the inland supply chain more efficient.
And as always, wonderful to sit down and talk to you.
Thank you. I enjoyed it.
I've been speaking with Randy Bayles, Director of International Intermodal for Norfolk Southern.